Always great to catch up with Chris Stewart, the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. He will be with us each and every Wednesday right here on Three Man Front. A regular guest during the high school football season, Kyle Parmley from Starnes Media. He joins us in studio, and we have in our hands, Landrum, the brand new edition of Under the Lights, the 2025 Prep Football Preview.
I love the way it
smells. If you're watching us on YouTube, that's a look at the cover. This is the Bible. You know, so many people say, okay, I need the Phil Steele's magazine. That's what I need for the entire football season. For me, and I've told you this, Kyle, I'm not placating to you. I've told you this for years since you guys have had this out. This is, when I get this in my hand, when you deliver it, this is when I know high school football is officially here. It
sure is here. So I appreciate that. It's a lot of work, a couple months of really diving into all the teams that we've got on that magazine. And, you think and you write so much over the summer and put it all together, and now it's all about to be useless in a few days because they're about to actually play football games.
How difficult is it? Is it as difficult as it is for guys at the college level like Phil Steele with the transfer portal? I mean, all of the turnover that you have
from
from
Are you
roster
saying
to
that
roster.
kids
No,
transfer in high school?
I meant turnover. I'm
sorry.
Wait.
Do they transfer in high school?
They do.
In Birmingham?
But as long as they're
in 7A?
But as long as it's
do they transfer?
Pat, it's got to be a bona fide move. Just a you've got it's just got to be bona
because
fide.
It's about the kids.
It is about the kids.
It's about the kids. Okay, go ahead.
Does that make it difficult?
I think the teams change a little bit more from the spring to the over the summer period than maybe they used to.
Yeah, they do. Oh, it's housing markets.
Kyle's like,
they pop at different times.
Why
Kyle.
is Pat and Landrum trying to send me down a road that's going to get me in trouble?
Sometimes parents want to change jobs and move cities right before the start of the football season.
Well, hey, I'll tell you, one of the perks of finding the Under the Lights magazine, there is a story in there of some coaches being quite candid about player movement and some of the other topics.
It seems to be a hot topic among coaches and booster clubs.
There was a coach last night in Metro Birmingham. He was tweeting about transfers. Did you see that last night?
Who was it?
I believe that was the current head coach of Thompson High School.
They've gotten a few in their day, right?
Yeah, he had some interesting things that he put on Twitter about transfers.
But it's all above board.
Of course.
Man, Winona's got a cool logo. I like that dragon.
All right, so you're going to be on the show Friday, and we'll get into the actual schedule on Friday. So in regards to Birmingham Metro, doesn't matter the classification. You followed this for a very long time. Do you sense that this is going to be a very strong year for high school football in the metropolitan Birmingham area? What do you say, or what are you feeling going into the season?
Yeah, I think based on a lot of the teams that I've kind of really worked on over the summer and tried to figure out who's what and who's going to be good, I think you're going to have a lot of the normal players. And you're going to have some teams that I think are kind of in a really good position to rise up. We end up talking about Class 7A Region 3 a lot because that's Hoover, that's Thompson, Vestavia, Hewitt-Trussville, Oak Mountain, on and on. And we've settled into this routine the last several years where it's been Thompson and Hoover are clearly at the top. Vestavia, Hills, and Hewitt-Trussville are clearly 3 and 4, and then the bottom 4. But I do sense that there's a little bit of rumbling in that bottom 4 between Oak Mountain and Prattville, that Hillcrest even, that may not be ready to make that jump to the playoffs, but I definitely think those teams are going to be a lot more competitive this year than they have been. So when you look at Region 3, I think Hewitt-Trussville's in position to have a great year. Vestavia is as well, but also some of those other teams might not be that far behind. So a region like that we talk about all year long, I think has the chance to be pretty compelling.
What about highly rated players in the Metro that you can think of? One in particular would be Clemson quarterback Brock Bradley, but who else?
Yeah, Spain Park quarterback Brock Bradley he's lived up to the hype, and it's really cool when you get one of those guys because you hear about these guys all the time coming up. Oh, watch out for this 8th grader or this freshman. But we started hearing about Brock when he was in 8th grade and how good he was going to be, and he's lived up to every bit of it. He's been the full-time starter at Spain Park the last 2 years, and he's primed for another great year, his senior year. One of the things that I think is really cool that has never happened in my time, putting together an all-South Metro team is all 3 of our players of the year are back. Brock was the player of the year last year. Mountain Brook running back Stuart Andrews was the offensive player of the year, and Hewitt-Trussville linebacker Parker Floyd was the defensive player of the year. All 3 of those guys are back for a senior year, and it's pretty exciting to see. After having such standout years, they're not gone. You get to see them for one more run at it. So there's a lot of guys that you already know are kind of the stars in this landscape that you're gonna know from week 1 this year.
I wanted to ask you about a couple of programs that we talk a lot about. They're not 7A, but let's start with Homewood, the Patriots. And they're a team that obviously a lot of people follow, and they expect to be extremely competitive again this year.
Yeah, they've been extremely competitive for the last decade plus, and I think they're going to be really good again. I've said a couple of times, I think they're going to be the team in my coverage area that is like takes that real
step.
big jump.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Caleb Carson's taken over at quarterback full time this year. He got forced into action late last year. He's been playing a lot of wide receiver in his career, but knowing that he's got that quarterback, he's got those skills. And when Will Myers got hurt last year, it was Caleb Carson's time to step in, be the starter, and wow, he was impressive. So Homewood is really looking for a big year from Caleb, and if they get that, they've got enough around him that they could be a really, really good team in 6A, probably flirting with a top 5.
Another team that we talk about a lot, Vestavia. Last year, their schedule was brutal. Not only the region that they have to play in, but their non-region games were brutal. Please tell me their schedule got better this year.
I wish I could tell you it got a lot easier, but it really didn't. I mean, they're starting with a state runner-up out of South Carolina this Friday night, and then they get Auburn the next week, who's really, really good. And then, it just keeps on coming because the region is that's no slouch either. But I do think they're going to be more prepared for it this year, at least coming out of the gates. I mean, last year they had so many young guys starting from day one.
And if I'm not mistaken, they were decimated with injuries.
They were banged up, and it was not pretty those first few games. But they hung with it and ended up having a really good season. And
God,
they just
end the season with Catholic.
Yeah, exactly. That's a state champion from last year too. So it's not easy, but they've got a lot more experience. Kind of that trial by fire thing that you hope really pays off down the road after what they went through last year.
We asked you this question about Metro Birmingham, but I want to ask you as a whole, the state, so to speak. When you talk about the state, most of the time you've got the eastern portion, especially in 7A, with Central Phoenix City, with Auburn, Opelika, those type teams. And then in South Alabama, you've got the likes of Fairhope. Of course, Baker was good last year, but their head coach is now at James Clemens up in Huntsville. As far as the state goes, do you see it kind of playing out like it has over the course of the last 5 to 6 years, or is there a couple of teams like a Metro Birmingham that could make some noise and come up?
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing we're going to be talking about a lot as you kind of get to the second half of the year and start to see the playoff picture develop. The 7A playoff bracket this year is it's not conducive to getting the best teams to the end. Region 2 and Region 3, which Region 3 we just talked about, all these Birmingham teams, and then Region 2 with Central, Auburn, Opelika, they're all matched up against each other this year in round 1 of the playoffs.
Wait, so I don't have to go to Mobile?
You don't have to go to Mobile in the first round. But that also means that the North and the South regions...
Now, that's an assumption that I'm going to be doing a playoff game, but,
I think Hewitt Truss was a playoff team this year.
Okay.
But that's going to be a thing we're talking about is that playoff.
See, I didn't even
bracket.
realize that, Kyle. You just broke some news to me because I was like, are we, because being a 3 seed last year, we had to go to Baker.
Right.
That's a long way, a really long way. Molly had her parents drive her. I didn't have anybody drive me. I had to drive myself.
Yeah,
she's a passenger princess. Like, she gets carted off everywhere.
Isn't the sideline person the most important part of the broadcast?
You better
team?
believe it. Are you kidding me? She shows up literally 5 minutes before broadcast, and she's got an entourage.
Kyle, I can tell you at the college level, it's not.
It depends on who it is.
Well, I guess it does.
All right, so you were saying, okay, and is that the case for the other classifications too?
No, 7A has its own kind of playoff bracket deal because the coaches, they got tired of the same old thing.
Absolutely.
Every year
we were playing Huntsville
every single year.
Yeah, it was brutal.
And so as a way to placate that and try to switch it up a little bit, that's what they went to. And then so you started that last year.
So 1 through 6A, that's basically the same it's always been?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it too close, but it's definitely not exactly the same. They're in their normal rotations of who matches up with who.
Okay.
Before everybody freaks out on Friday night when they go watch their first high school football rule changes for 2025, anything noteworthy?
I don't think there's anything too crazy going on, but as long as you got 11 in the same uniform that run out on the field, they'll play a game.
Yeah.
Are they still going to go crazy about making sure that your kneecaps aren't being shown.
You know they
Remember
will
how
in game one, right?
Oh my gosh.
They always do that in game one.
It was so brutal. Sending kids out of the game because now I'm not in favor of them looking like punters where they basically looks like you're wearing like short shorts, but it's like, oh my gosh, really? Like sending kids off because their kneecaps aren't covered by their pants. It's just whatever.
Well, the officials it's been ingrained in them all summer. Like, hey, you got to make sure this is done a certain way, and so everybody that first week is trying to emphasize the right
instant
things.
replay, that out?
Is it completely out?
Yeah.
No, I don't think. Well, I know that they've said that electronic equipment on the sidelines is okay, but you can't have in-helmet communication. I don't know about replay.
I can just tell you that when that was like a big deal in a few years ago in Region 3, I think there was only 2 schools that actually had the capability of doing it, and then it came down to just 1 school.
Yeah, it's a big discrepancy in who has that sort of technology that it's almost like you show up to a game and realize, oh man, this school has the instant replay. Well, one coach has had 10 games worth of practice knowing what he can and can't review, and then the other sideline's like, well, this is the first time we've ever dealt with this. We don't really know what to do, and it's taking time away from coaching your football team because these coaches are worried about, wait a minute, how do I utilize this?
Quickly, before we let you go, on the instant replay, this is a funny story. So a couple of years ago, I will not name the opponent, and you're smiling, so I know you know what I'm about to say. They had instant replay. They challenged a call, and our cameras captured them on the sideline, and they had our feed from the Husky Fast Network on their sideline, and they were using that to help determine the call of that particular play.
Quite certain that's not legal.
Well, like I said,
was the team Central Michigan?
Some guy that looked like Connor Stallions was on the sideline. It was crazy. So yeah, that's why I was curious if it was going to be around or not.
Yeah, it's something that I wish we could either like completely take away or fast forward to where most people have it, and it's not such a shock when you have those few teams that can utilize it.
Speaking of Michigan, do we have any Sharon Moore type suspensions that maybe a coach got suspended for maybe filming during a playoff game last year and that carries into this year?
I don't think that Opelika one carries into this year, but that was quite the stir in the playoffs last year, getting caught on the sideline at the Hoover game.
Well, and you got Rush Probst back at Coosa Christian, so.
You think that'll be interesting or boring?
It will not be boring.
Think there'll be a headline or two from that?
It depends if they win.
There's a lot potentially there.
Yeah.
No, they're a great football team in their division. Great
Should be
football
fun.
team.
A lot of overs.
All right, tell everyone where they can pick up their Under the Lights magazine. Couple locations.
Yeah, they should be out in the communities that are represented, but the Battery in Homewood, Buffalo Wild Wings on the 280 locations, places like that, you should be able to find them. And man, I'm ready to get it cranked up.
Absolutely.
You got them in grocery stores too?
They're places.
Okay.
Check the Pig in Homewood.
Yeah, Pig in Homewood is one I was going to ask you about.
Yes, for sure.
That's his home. It's his home field. It's where he buys his
You hang out in there a lot?
his milk and cookies.
Sometimes I don't even go in there to shop.
He just hangs out.
Yeah.
You tell them about the Jags on Friday nights?
I wear my Spain Park gear.
It goes over well in Homewood.
I paid taxes and went to Homewood.
All right, Kyle Parmley, we will talk to you Friday at 1:00.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Always great to see you. More 3-Man front here on Jocks.